What the fuck you talking about?
That fucking shooting spree! In the store, remember?
Oh, fuck them. They set off the alarm. They deserve what they got.
You almost killed me! Asshole! If I know what kind of guy you were, I never would have agreed to work with you.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite? What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Would you repeat it? Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?
Oh, Christ. Hey, look, you two assholes, calm the fuck down. Hey, come on, back up. What are we on a playground here, huh?
Chris Scouser here with
Matt Howell.
And an unusual daytime recording this week on the first run. Matt and I, we strapped in for Joseph Kinski's next mining of 80s pastiche. Is that how you say that word? With F1. Allegedly drunk and abusive father Brad Pitt plays Sonny Hayes, a race insert vehicle here driver that gets one last chance at glory that maybe also provides some wisdom for the team along the way. There's a formulaic rundown of the big releases on physical media featuring your Viper video and streaming picks of the week. And then Matt and I are going to wrap up this track with another circuit of horror madness, this time focusing on the worn out treads that is the 90s. Like how I worked in all those racing car things.
You did. It was very nice. I like all the puns.
Thank you. You're welcome. Here's a clip from F1.
You got an entire assembly line of kids raised on the simulator.
No, I don't have time for some kid to learn how to come in 10th. I don't.
Well, you don't just walk off the street and pilot a rocket.
Yes, you can if you've done it before. That's the whole point. Louis Chiron was 57 years old when he won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Who was who?
Philippe Tancelin, 56 years old.
Google these names, didn't you?
Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot.
Wow, Ruben, you are really selling this.
But I see a guy who makes teams better. I see experience. I see know-how.
You're off your meds.
My Rook is a phenomenal talent. Phenomenal. But he's young. You know what he lacks? Maturity. You plus him, boom. I got a team.
Matt, we got a team. What is F1 the movie all about?
So Brad Pitt plays I would hesitate to call him a has-been, maybe a never was in the F1 world. Sonny, he has suffered a major accident when he was in his up-and-coming youth, and he decided that he's just going to drive around and implausibly be the best at every other kind of racing except for F1. So, Indy, NASCAR, street racing, whatever. Whatever the full scope of it is except for F1, because he just can't go back to the thing that almost took his life and ended his career, right? Well, his friend comes back and says, I need you, man. My racing team is on the verge of bankruptcy. I've got a hot young driver, but I need that grounding influence, and you're the only one who can do it for me. And Brad Pitt reluctantly says, okay. And there it is.
There you go. Matt, what are your thoughts on F1? Is it the crowd-pleasing adventure kind of action-y race car film that you never realized you needed? Or are you able to get past the fact that you've probably seen this film at least 24 times before?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've seen this film 24 times before. Well, I will say this. The plot points and the beats, and so such as they are basically something you've seen. It has no depth at all, right? I mean, it seems almost trite to kind of talk about the performances and the plot and the story because it's all so basic, right? But it does look great. It looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yep.
The racing scenes are super fun to watch on a huge screen. And you know what? If you want to turn your mind off and just kind of watch a super exciting spectacle in the movies while it's 100 degrees outside, you could do worse.
Yeah, I mean, you're cool with watching basically a 150-minute F1 infomercial as well.
I mean,
Like,
enough, right?
it feels like a lot of that too. Is like we're definitely here selling you on F1 too.
But the majority of those 150 minutes is maybe as needless as they are, is racing footage, right? I mean, it's pretty exciting to watch, and yeah, okay, it's trying to sell me on F1, but didn't work. Like, I'm not going to watch F1, like, because you're not in the cockpit of the stuff. You're just watching them go around a track, which is not exciting. But when you're kind of strapped to the, into the cockpit of the car and kind of seeing all the ins and outs of the exciting parts of the racing and the movie magic of making it even more exciting than it really is. I mean, yeah, I think it's a fun watch. It's good dadtainment, if you will. Mindless summer fun, but nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, I think you've seen this movie a dozen times over, and it's a bit of a throwback to the '80s glory days. When I'm watching this thing, I'm feeling like, all right, now if I needed just a straight mass commercial appeal, Tony Scott, this is who I would go with. I would go with Kaczynski, I think, at this point, right? Because he's following in Scott's footsteps. First, he redoes Top Gun. Now we're doing kind of Days of Thunder, right? But now we're with F1 instead of like NASCAR, right? And it's a well told story with no real sense of style or artistry. It nails the racing scenes, like Matt said. It's exhilarating in that points. It's a lot of fun to watch, but it's everything else is just paper thin, and it's fine. It's fine. Like Matt said, it's a nice little escape. Just don't expect much out of it. I will say too, I did enjoy this. I feel like I'm really coming down on it. I had a good enough time watching this. I enjoyed the experience. I saw it in IMAX, nice and big and loud. Which, if you're going to watch this, it's how I recommend you see it. But you're probably going to lose those screens to Jurassic Park next week or this week. But it's definitely also, I think, a film for. I think it's a good job of balancing trying to bring in new people, but then lovingly show the F1 fans as well. Because I think that this is jam packed with like F1 luminaries or like racers or coaches or whatever they're called. Because there is a lot of kind of focus shots on people who I'm clearly supposed to know who they are, right? The way the camera kind of just lingers on them, and I'm like, all right, that must be somebody because we're spending a lot of time looking at this guy. But it's fine. And I think, like I said, Kaczynski equates himself well to this kind of just mass appeal entertainment. It's content, really, is what it comes down to. But it's content that's done really well. And perhaps I didn't find the ending to be that uplifting. If anything, I kind of found it anticlimactic because the whole thing kind of felt perfunctory. I think Kaczynski does a good job of maybe trying to disguise what's about to happen, but it's coming. It's coming like 10 minutes into the movie. But it's fine. It's enjoyable. Like you said, there's not much. There's a romantic subplot between Pitt and Carrie Condon. Does kind of pointless. It doesn't really go anywhere or do anything, but the whole film's like that. It's just setting us up for the next race, build up a little tension, and then to the ending that you all know you're going to get, that everybody's looking for. And it's very clean, very slick. It just doesn't have any kind of style, art, or juice to it, but it's a fun race car movie, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's about all there is to say about it. I mean, there's not, like I said, there's not really any depth to it to kind of critique it or really get into the weeds on it, right? I mean, it's really just a matter of, it's fun to watch. It's kind of forgettable. It'll be one of those things that it plays over and over and over again on like TBS or FX, like on the weekends in like 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a throwback '80s summer blockbuster cotton candy type of thing. It's basically what it is. This is a roller coaster ride, but this is at Riverside. You're right, not at like Six Flags, not at like Disney or something like that.
Wow,
Riverside,
dropping the local lore there, Riverside. I mean, it hasn't been called Riverside in like 20 years.
Well, I didn't say Quasi. I could have said Quasi, which would have made it even smaller.
Lake Compounds.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, no, I'm on the Wikipedia real fast, and there's at least like 20, 25, 30 names of people who are Formula One drivers, personnel, and others.
Okay.
So let's go through them all, shall we? No.
Oh, please. Can we?
That's fine. So yeah, that's it. Oh, and I got to. I'd say I enjoyed the score. It had a nice kind of retro again, synthy kind of 80s feel to it, which I liked. And really, that's what he's doing is updating. I think Days of Thunder basically
Mhm.
for this film. And
Mhm.
one thing I was a little disappointed is Shea Wiggum shows up, who I love, but he's only in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. I was really expecting it to be like, I need to bring in my guy, coach guy, whatever, and then he would show up. But that never happened. He's just in the film for like 8 minutes, and then he's gone forever.
Right.
So sorry, Shay. I was hoping for more for you in this film. I'd say too, my theater was packed, Matt. I saw it on when did I go to this? It was a reasonable time. It was Sunday. It was a Sunday, like at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But it was packed. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I went during the day, so I mean, there was a decent amount of people there, but it wasn't slammed yet. I try to go early.
It's pulled in about 167 mil as of the recording of this episode on Thursday. So yeah, it seems to be a big crowd pleaser. I'm glad people enjoyed it. I'm giving it a B minus.
Yeah, I think it would be a little nicer. I think I might give it a B. I mean, I thought the racing things were pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure. If you had a chance to see F1 or F1 copyright the movie or F1 the movie, depending on what they're demanding of people at any point, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, let's talk about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday. We're getting a 4K anniversary release of this one, as well as a pretty sweet looking steel book with like some stickers and a bunch of other stuff. I was seriously considering picking this up.
Should all oppressed people be allowed refuge in America? Amber will take the con position. Cher will be pro. Cher, 2 minutes.
So, okay, like right now, for example, the Haitians need to come to America. But some people are all, what about the strain on our resources? But it's like when I had this garden party for my father's birthday, right? I said RSVP because it was a sit-down dinner. But people came that did not RSVP. So I was totally bugging. I had to haul ass to the kitchen, redistribute the food, squish in extra place settings. But by the end of the day, it was the more the merrier. And so if the government could just get to the kitchen, rearrange some things, we could certainly party with the Haitians. And in conclusion, may I please remind you that it does not say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty. Thank you very much.
Could have said it better myself, Cher. So that, of course, is a clip from Clueless, Matt. It is I hope you're sitting down, 30th anniversary. And Amazon does have an exclusive steel book with, like I said, there's retro photo cards like Polaroids and a poster, a whole bunch of stuff. Her Cher's report card is in there. I mean, it's a really nice set if you're a Clueless fan. So I couldn't find any information on any special features per se, but I'm sure a lot of those will be ported over, and you can check that out. You a fan of the Clueless there, Matt?
Yeah, I liked it when it came out. I haven't watched it in a really long time, but yeah, it's a cute movie.
All right, I found some. You got a Clueless, Clue or False trivia game, and the Class of '95. Just a bunch of making of featurettes, basically. You got included in there. So there you go, folks. You can finally pick up that Clueless 4K, at least that anniversary edition. All right, let's count them down. I don't know where my soundboard is. Here it is. It's number 5.
Number 5.
I'm going to go with Until Dawn, which is a video game adaptation, I believe. A group spends a weekend in a ski lodge on the anniversary of their friend's disappearance, unaware that they are not alone. It includes a Dolby Atmos audio track, audio commentary, deleted extended scenes, and some making of featurettes. Matt, do you ever play the game Until Dawn? I think it's one of those where I was able to download it to my PlayStation because of one of the free games for a month, but I never played it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never gotten around to playing it. I don't have it. I intended to grab it at some point, but I haven't played it.
I want to play that new Indiana Jones game. It's supposed to be really, really good, and it hit PlayStation a couple months ago, but I don't have a PS5.
Okay.
And I was waiting for a couple good games to come out, and there's a new Naughty Dog game that's going to be out in 2026.
Okay.
So maybe that will be it. But then I also realized, well, Chris, you have 5 games for the PS4 you've never played.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 over and over again. I don't game that much. So if I have once in a great while, I'll get possessed with the urge. I'll play for an hour, and then that'll be it. So,
yeah.
But the Indiana Jones games look really good. Number 4.
4.
Let's go with Abigail, Matt, being released by Shout Factory. A brand new 4K restoration of that one includes basically it's all archival stuff, a bunch of interviews, I should say. But you get a Dolby Vision HDR presentation of the film if you are an Abigail fan. This is the one basically is a remake of The Daughter of Dracula or Dracula's Daughter. I can't remember what the title is, but came out about a year or so ago. But it's got Dan, what's his name, Matt? We all love Dan guy from The Guest. And
Dan Stevens.
Stevens. I had Samson in my head. I'm like, that's not right. That sounds like a cool name. Also sounds like an adult film star name. But regardless, Abigail is pretty good. Number 3.
Get 3 coffins ready.
The Amateur. I guess we're still trying to make Rami Malek a real star. When his supervisors at the CIA refuse to take action after his wife is killed in a London terrorist attack, a decoder takes matters into his own hands. Also features Lawrence Fishburne. So making up features on that as well as 5 deleted scenes. You see that one? It's like, well, he's like the little bookish kind of guy, but then he has to get revenge. So he sets up all these kind of traps and things.
I have not seen it. I do remember seeing the trailers though.
Yeah, that's it. So all right, good. 2.
I have 2 words: perfect love and perfect trust.
One of the better, if not one of the best films. It's in my top 10, probably my top 5 for the year so far, which we should probably do by the end of the month or shortly, right? Sinners is being released as well. This is Ryan Coogler's fantastic vampire film featuring Michael B. Jordan in 2 roles. There's also a really sweet looking steelbook, but I think it's basically sold out everywhere. But you got some deleted scenes included in this one and a rather extensive making of featurette. And I know you saw it. I don't know if it's included here, but you can watch it online. Coogler walks you through different aspect ratios for films, and it's really interesting and informative. So, yeah, I'm really excited to pick up Sinners. And then 1.
There can be only one.
I have sat on this for a very long time. I did not pick it up in a Criterion sales because I know they'd done a 4K restoration of this film, which is already gorgeous, but it was only available in Blu-ray from Criterion. Well, now it's finally going to be here. Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon being released in 4K. And also there is an alternate 5.1 soundtrack as well as I believe is the original Mana oral soundtrack. And then a bunch of archival interviews. But really the big key here is you're going to get Barry Lyndon, one of the most beautiful films potentially ever shot, finally in 4K from Criterion. Matt, your Viper video pick of the week. Speaking of Dracula, it's The Wrath of Dracula. In 1897, Mina Harker travels to Transylvania to find her missing husband, Jonathan, last seen with the enigmatic Count Dracula. Discovering a ruined village, she teams up with Van Helsing, who trains her in vampire hunting. Together, they battle Dracula and his brides to end his reign of terror. This concept intrigues me. Like, is this like a ballerina situation where she becomes like an ultimate badass and goes to hunt down Dracula with Van Helsing? I got to tell you, I'm a little interested in checking this out.
All right.
What should we be streaming this week? Besides, Wrath of Dracula, of course.
Right. Well, in honor of the announcement in the trailer, or at least the teaser trailer for Spinal Tap 2, I think you should go out and check out Spinal Tap 1, one of the all-time great mockumentaries. Just such a good movie. It's so much fun to watch. It's
Coming back to the Criterion Collection again in 4K too later this year.
Is it? All right. Well, maybe I'll have to put my hands on that, even though I do have it I definitely have it in DVD. I don't know if I have it in Blu-ray.
Yeah, I just have the DVD from years ago.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but it's available only on Canopy right now, which is, a service that I think is relatively widespread. Check with your library. You may be able to check it out, but you should do what you can to watch it.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? They're re-releasing the 4K remaster in theaters, which is also going to include scenes from the new film. But it's a Fathom event, so you may want to reconsider that. I saw that Fathom screening of the anniversary for The Thing, and it was atrocious. I think on that episode, I spent like 20 minutes complaining about it. When I saw it, I was so angry. It's like they found this beat up, scratched, torn print from somebody's basement and then just showed that. It was really bad, which was upsetting too because the 4K remaster of it had come out like 6 months prior, or if a little, a few months prior, because that's what they were pushing was the anniversary or the 4K release. Ridiculous. See, it still upsets me. All right, Matt, let's go ahead and transfer over to our 90s version of our horror madness bracket. We're going to pick the best 90s horror films and see if we can whittle it down to one, which if you've picked up on any of my mannerisms or voice at all, I'm not really excited about this decade at all. So let's see if it's not on my list, but let's see if it makes Matt's. Okay.
How do I know you ain't gonna kill me?
You have my word. I mean, frankly, we've been counting on you, haven't we? The world needs more people like you, Mr. Roach.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course, you don't mind if we kill the others, do you?
Hey, if it makes you feel good, do it.
Makes you feel good, do it. Exactly. First things first, of course. The blood seal.
Listen, personal note, be sure and kill Breaker. He's a bossy asshole.
Isn't he, though?
Thank you. That's it?
Ooh, that's it.
No, you ain't such a bad fella.
You aren't so bad yourself. Oh, pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Roach.
Matt, that is a clip from Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight,
Mm-hmm.
a film that I have an inordinate affection for. I don't know why. It's a lot of fun. Billy Zane basically devouring the scenery in that film. Really a lot of fun. But not in my list of like 8, 7, 6 films, whatever I have here, right? So
Me neither, but it is a lot of fun. I have a lot of affection for that film as well. It's way better and way more fun than it has any right to be.
all right, there you go. All right, so Matt, it's now the ones that I have on my list I think are pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some films here that came out in the 90s that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But I'll give you, let's go, I guess, because we do it differently every week. Let's go 3 at a time, I guess, or 2 at a time, or 4 at a time. I don't know.
Okay.
See, I really don't know what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I got, though. I'll give you a couple right off the bat. I got Audition.
Mm-hmm.
I have Silence of Said Lambs. And I'll say I have Dead Alive.
Okay.
Give me a couple.
So I had Audition as well. Silence of the Lambs is great, but I was kind of going back and forth on whether it's really a horror movie, right?
Mhm.
But we'll leave that discussion for a moment here. So I'll go with the Blair Witch Project.
Okay, good. Yep, I got that.
The Ring,
Okay.
and despite what it's become, Scream.
Yep, I got that as well. All right. And then a couple that Matt you didn't mention. I'm curious to see. I have these two here. I have The Sixth Sense and
Mhm.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, Sixth Sense is really good. Again, I kept going back and forth. Is it really a horror movie to me? Just because there's ghosts in it, right?
I think so. No?
Yeah, you know, I can see that. I mean, I don't really like Bram Stoker's Dracula that much. I'm
Okay.
not a huge fan of it. Have you watched it recently?
No.
Yeah.
No, I bought the Blu-ray. This is gonna shock you. I bought the Blu-ray like 10 years ago, 8 years
Mhm.
ago.
And
Haven't-
never
haven't-
checked it
haven't-
out.
haven't watched.
Yeah. Gary Oldman's a lot of fun in it, and it looks really cool. But man, Keanu is bad. Winona's not great.
Yeah.
It is, and you know, people make fun of like Twilight and stuff, but most of the movie is like them pining for each other. That's really what it is. I'm not a huge fan of it, but
Well,
let me let out some other things on my honorable mentions. And
yeah, I was
see
gonna
if
say,
there's
let's
any
give you a couple more.
all right, so I had Misery,
Mhm.
New Nightmare, Interview with the Vampire, The Faculty, Sleepy Hollow, but again, I didn't put it on there because it doesn't really feel like a horror film to me.
Yeah.
But
I should say New Nightmare is actually not bad. I was thinking of Freddy's Dead, I think, is the one that's really, really bad.
no, that one is terrible. Yeah, New Nightmare is the one where it's like the meta one.
Yeah. I'm open to New Nightmare. Anything else?
The other things I had, we talked about Demon Knight. Nothing that I would think would make the list. I mean, just I have Mouth of Madness, Candyman, Army of Darkness. But I don't know if I would throw any of those here.
I don't think Army of Darkness would cut. I think it's more of like a action adventure film.
Yeah, right.
That it is.
Right.
Yeah, I had Candyman 2. I would also had I'll run it. So I had Body Snatchers, Abel Ferrara's film, which hang tight for the trail. It's the stinger for that. Ravenous, that cannibal film. I think it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I did The Craft on here. Frighteners, Peter Jackson's film, but that's more a comedy. I don't know if it's horror. From Dusk Till Dawn. You talked about Sleepy Hollow. The Savini's Night of the Living Dead remake, I think is pretty good. It's nice and gory.
Yeah.
Then you have Del Toro's Kronos, as well as Mimic.
Yeah.
Arachnophobia, Tremors,
Mm-hmm.
Cemetery Man, Michel Sauvet's Cemetery Man, Exorcist 3. But if we're all honest, I think the big key thing about Exorcist 3, it probably has one of the best jump scares, if not the best jump scare of the 90s.
Right.
And then Lynch's Lost Highway is probably more of a neo-noir thriller. I mean, but I guess it's all shades of gray. I don't know. So,
it's a pretty weak decade. Very weak decade.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to ditch Dracula for something else if there's something you really feel.
Yeah, I don't feel like I need to. There's no hills that I need to die on, really. Like, I mean, I think. Like, I wouldn't pick it, but I see why a lot of people would. And I can't say that I would like go to bat for like anything that's on here. Like, I think everything has its flaws and detractions to it, you know?
Yeah.
Other than what's kind of like above that. Like that stuff that's above it, I think is pretty solid.
So no Frankenhooker for you.
No Frankenhooker, no. This close.
All right. Well, if we don't feel particularly strong about anything, maybe we just leave it. Now, what about our categories here? I don't know if I think we need to move things around, like Audition and Silence of the Lambs. Well, they're both.
Yeah, they're both sort of serial killers kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so I guess we can keep that. Then...
Unless you wanted to put Audition against The Ring, and then it would be a kind of Japanese horror versus the remake of the Japanese horror.
When did The Grudge come out?
I think it came out in 2000s.
Okay. Because that would probably be on here too. I think that Grudge remake is pretty good. Oh, 2004. Wow. Okay. Never mind. I was wondering why I didn't come across it. All right. Yeah. Well, then we have Dead Alive and Blair Witch. One's zombies and one's a witch.
A witch, right?
Then you have six. I feel like we need to pair up some supernatural stuff, though. We have the Sixth Sense, and well, I guess Sixth Sense is supernatural. Dracula's supernatural for sure.
Yeah.
And then it's The Ring and Scream.
Yeah, the only thing I could see moving. Yeah, I mean, honestly, all these kind of work in and of it is, you know, for categories, right? Because they're all kind of very different. Yeah. Other than the fact that you have kind of three people killer ones in Scream, Silence of the Lambs, and Audition, although they're all very different in their movies, you know?
Yeah. All right, let's just run with it. Okay. Matt, what do you think? Audition or Silence of the Lambs?
Silence of the Lambs is great. It is a fantastic film. I'm going to go with Audition because it feels like a true horror film to me. And granted, it's such a slow burn and it's such a fake out. Like the first, whatever it is, 45 minutes to an hour of that film is such a fake out. But man, when it turns, it turns on you.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, Silence of the Lambs is great entertainment. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's exceptionally well done. It is one of the best films of the 90s, but when it comes to sheer unsettling horror, I'm sorry, Buffalo Bill. I got to go with, the dating pool. I think I have to go with Audition. So there you go. Dead Alive then, or Blair Witch. I would go with Dead Alive. It is so much fun. It is so over the top. Now, Blair Witch, I think, is a scarier film, a more traditional kind of horror film. With Dead Alive is just steeped, not just drowning in gore, but also there's an air of lightness and comedy and humor throughout the whole thing that kind of helps maintain how just ridiculously over the top the film is. When it comes to something I rewatch that I prefer, I think I'd rewatch Dead Alive before I'd watch Blair Witch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the complete opposite on this one. I enjoyed Dead Alive quite a bit, but you can't overstate the cultural impact that Blair Witch had and just what it did for basically kind of bringing an entire genre, for better or worse, and found footage into the limelight. The kind of guerrilla marketing of using the internet, people thinking this shit was weird, was real. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I know Blair Witch right now, if you watch it in your home, it is kind of hokey, right? It's very low budget, but I cannot stress enough, like, if you are in a theater full of people who were locked in, like, just the vibes it would give you was just unmatched. Still one of the best theater experiences I've ever had.
All right, so we'll sit on that one. I will say, back when that came out was the year I ran the movie theater up in Torrington, Connecticut. And weren't sure if we were going to get it or not. If it was going to go to the larger theater in Windsor, or if it was going to stay with us, if we were going to get it in Torrington.
Sure.
And it turned out we got it.
Okay.
And I was very excited. So we screened it for the staff like the day before it was supposed to come out. We all stayed late to watch because, like Matt said, it was like a cultural phenomenon at the time. And it was a nasty lightning and thunderstorm that night too when we watched it, which really kind of helped add to the experience, the ambiance of the whole experience. It was so much fun, and the staff talking about, did this really happen? Did this happen? That's it was absolutely something else. So you know what, Matt, I'm gonna fold. I'm gonna go with you on Blair Witch. I think that's fine. All right. So then we're moving on to The Ring and Scream.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
This one's tough for me, right? Because Scream kind of again, better or worse, it kind of revitalized the kind of slasher genre, right? And a bunch of terrible copycats came out in the early 2000s trying to capitalize on it. And I can't stress enough how much it righted the ship for slashers, right? It was a hell of a lot of fun. The Ring is creepy as all hell, and it has one of the best jump scares when that closet door opens. But in the middle of it, it's really just a detective story, right? And it's a lot of just building dread, right? Until the very, very end. I would be curious to see where you land on this, because I'm having a bit of a difficulty figuring out which one I want to go with.
I'm leaning towards The Ring.
Okay.
I think it is a more terrifying experience, especially like Matt said, that jump scare in the beginning with Amber Tamblyn. And then also to the ending part of it the whole thing, it's so well done and it's so unsettling. I don't think anything in Scream is as scary as the parts in The Ring. Maybe in the beginning when Drew Barrymore is being stalked, but kind of outside of that. It's a fun little roller coaster ride, Scream is, but when it comes to kind of just scary horror films, I think The Ring does tip it for me. Now, I have not watched The Ring since I can't tell you. I got the new 4K that came out a little while ago, so I've been wanting to catch up with it again. And I did watch the Scream films once the new one came out. Kind of went through all of them again, and it's good. I think part of it is my lack of affection for Jamie Kennedy. Kind of is an issue for me at Scream, and the whole thing with the rules kind of gets tired, 2-3 films in.
Sure.
So I think I'd have to go with The Ring there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think we can go with The Ring.
All right, then The Sixth Sense and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Coppola's artistry in Dracula, Matt, it's a beautiful film filled with loss and tragedy, romance, and I think some really scary kind of horror elements in it. Costume design. It's just a really interesting artistic endeavor of a horror film. The Sixth Sense, though, again, like Blair Witch, was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
This little horror film mystery where, everybody made a pact basically not to spoil the ending. And it blew up, made a ton of money, made M. Night Shyamalan a household name for a while. And and also too kind of helped restore after Pulp Fiction. It was like the next film to kind of restore Bruce Willis as a serious actor too. So I'm leaning towards The Sixth Sense on this one.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, Bram Stoker's Dracula looks absolutely great. It's got this whole gothic feel to it. Gary Oldman is a lot of fun in it. Anthony Hopkins is a lot of fun in it. Winona is out of her league. She's out of her depth. Same thing with Keanu Reeves. He is just terrible. Jonathan is so bad, and but it is still very much got that gothic feel, right? A lot of, like Chris said, a lot of romance, a lot of pining for each other, this kind of forbidden love, all this stuff that we kind of make fun of in like Interview with the Vampire or Twilight. That's all still here in Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I think a lot of people forget that, right? But Gary Oldman with his butthead like hairdo when he's in that heavy makeup is just fantastic. When he shows up as the Wolfman is fantastic. You've got Monica Bellucci as one of the brides of Dracula, which is also fantastic for other reasons. But Sixth Sense, I think, is like Chris said, a cultural phenomenon. The twist ending at the end was just kind of a gut punch while you were watching it. And it's got some really unsettling, scary scenes in it. Like, when he's hiding in his room in the tent and, he's got the ghosts and the cold breath and stuff like that. I think it's the one we got to go with.
Yeah, I have that on DVD. I am waiting for that 4K to drop, but it's Disney, so I don't think it ever will. I mean, I don't think it's going to be cheaper than like $40.
Right.
So at some point. All right, Matt. Audition. Let's work our way back up. Then Sixth Sense of the Ring.
I would probably go The Ring just because I think it's a scarier movie and it's one that I watch more often than Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that reasoning. I think that's probably where I would have landed myself as well. So I think that's fine. And then Audition or The Blair Witch.
Man.
I don't know.
Audition. I just have to go Audition for me.
Yeah.
It's so unsettling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair. Man, when she on the phone and then I don't want to spoil it, but still it is. Yeah. All right. So that brings us then to Audition or The Ring.
What do you think, Chris?
I think
I know which way I'm
Audition
leaning
for that. For me.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm leaning Audition as well, which surprised me. I would not necessarily have thought that Audition would have been my favorite horror film or the best. What I would say is the best horror film in the 90s, but.
Yeah, when I put this list together, I honestly thought we were gonna end up with Silence of the Lambs, and then I would kind of make a tepid plea for like Dead Alive, but or even The Sixth Sense. But now that we kind of talk about it and I think about it, I think Audition is the most unsettling and scary film. Like Matt said, that slow burn, and once we get there, it is, whew, you get a chill just thinking about it. If you haven't seen Audition, folks, you need to see Takashi Miike's film. Let me see too. I'll look it up real fast, Matt, if it's streaming anywhere right now. So you can check it out and follow along. But yeah, I have the Arrow Blu-ray, which is pretty nice. If you haven't picked it up yet or seen it. And it looks like, Matt, it's really, you're going to have to. Okay, here you go. Peacock, AMC, and Canopy. All right. Available to stream right now.
Wow. Pretty good.
So AMC Plus, I guess. So Peacock, AMC Plus, and Canopy all have Audition for your review. Oh, wait, there's even more. It's on Shudder.
Oh.
Too. So there you go, folks. Enjoy that. Where would you end up on this list? What's your favorite 90s horror film? Did we forget something? Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, what's coming up next week on the big show?
We're checking out the latest in the never-ending Jurassic Park franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth, and I don't know how I feel about this one.
It's written by David Koepp. He wrote the first two. It's his first return to the series after that. Well, and it's also what Gareth Evans. He did the last good Star Wars movie, Rogue something.
Right.
So I did start Andor. I think I'm 2 episodes in, and I am really, really liking it.
Oh, you're starting with the first season, right? You haven't seen any of it?
Oh, no, I saw the first season. I'm on season 2.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
So there you go. All right, folks. In the meantime, you can check us out at thefirstrun.com. Find archives of all the old shows. There's a player there, the report card. You can see what grades you gave films previously. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually, you'll find us. We have been posting the live video recordings of the show on YouTube as well. So if you're wondering how handsome I am and then what filter Matt chooses every particular week, that's where you got to see it. And then head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. And that will be that for this week. So please, everybody, take care of yourselves. I love you very much. Sic Semper Tyrannis. And we'll see you all soon.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going to run? Where are you going to hide? Nowhere. Because there's no one like you.